Hi there. My name is Leslie Horn-Trossett, and this is a new thing for me that I'm trying out. I am going to be producing or creating a new series where I'm going to talk about content marketing and SEO, which is search engine optimization, as well as social media strategies. And I'll give a tip at the beginning, and then at the end, if you still want to stay with me, I'm going to share a piece of me about my life as a mompreneur. I've been a mompreneur for 17 years, and I have 4 children, ranging from 14 to 22. And so I have a lot of experience both in the online marketing world and as well as a mom. So I know as a mompreneur, if you're a mompreneur, you know what it's like to juggle both being a mom and a business owner. And so I've run into a lot of things through the years that I thought I might be able to share with people, and maybe you can relate. Would love your comments and your feedback and suggestions, because I'm always open to learning more things and new things. And, the world of the internet, things are changing so rapidly. So I just thought it might be cool to start sharing some tips, and both on the business front and on the home front. So here we go. So today's first topic is on renting versus owning. And I created a very high-tech, which of course is reversed, rent versus own concept. And what this concept is about is, when you buy a house, you can buy a house and you own it and you have a mortgage, but it's your house and you're building a foundation. And but you can also rent. When you rent, you don't own it. Obviously, it's like leasing. You just have it for a while, and then when you leave, it's not yours anymore. And so you haven't built up any equity or anything like that. Well, I want to apply this thought to how you're handling your online marketing and your own business online. So the one thing that I want you to think about is when you create your own website, you have a lot of options out there. You can own it yourself, or you can rent it. There are companies like Squarespace and Weebly, and there are a lot of other companies, like I know are in the Albany, New York area. There's our newspaper, the Hearst Corporation, who, once they saw that print started to go downhill, and there's still a place for print, but as they started losing paper subscribers, I think anyway, that they started thinking about, all right, well, how are we going to survive in this business? We have to reinvent ourselves. So what they did is they started offering all these online marketing features, and that they would allow you to put on their website, but then they started offering websites. Well, all the websites that I've seen, you don't own those. They own them. And if you notice at the bottom, it's their copyright on there. So they build it for you at a really, really low entry point. And then when you no longer want to pay that anymore, which is at a premium, you walk away with nothing. None of that content is yours. It's a similar thing with Squarespace, although at least with Squarespace and some of these other ones, you can export all of your files, but then you have to find somebody who is knowledgeable about exporting files and XML files, and then importing them into whatever new service provider or host you want to go with. So starting with the very basics of a website, it's best to go with a website that you're going to own and that you can invest in. So that would be, for instance, like WordPress. WordPress is such an awesome hosting platform. I love it. There's so much flexibility with it. You own it. And you pay for hosting through a lot of different hosting providers like GoDaddy, or there's zillions of host companies out there. And then you apply the WordPress platform onto the hosting platform. So that's really the way that I would suggest, is that you start building really a solid foundation. Now, the next part of this is, what do you do once you start building your content? So content is anything that you create that is helping you to market your business. So it could be a video, it could be a picture, it could be a audio file, it could be a Facebook Live, it could be anything, but it's content, right? And so we call that method content marketing. And when you create these things, you need to think about putting that content on your website. Because what I'm seeing a lot of people do is that they put it on they create the content on Facebook or on LinkedIn or on Twitter or some other platform that they don't own. So here we go with the owning strategy again. And it's okay for you to be social, like you have to be social, right? But if you only create the content and load all of your pictures and all of your videos, let's say you focus on Facebook and it's all there, then when Facebook is no longer the place to hang out for your audience, now you're going to be like, oh my God, now I have all that content that is on Facebook and I didn't put any of it on my website. So there's a huge advantage to creating pieces of content that you keep on your website, that you put on your website. It's okay to then share it to social media platforms. And in some cases, in many cases, it's okay to do some creation on the social media platform, but always think about maybe your more solid, robust pieces that you create on your, you create and then store as a resource on your website. And that way, the search engines over time will start to crawl your website more often, and they see great content that your customers and your audience loves, but you're building this foundation from the beginning, and no one can take that away from you. And so it's an investment, just like a house is. And you can always change hosts, that's fine, but at least you own your own content. So you're not investing in something that you have to walk away from when you no longer want to use it anymore, like in a renting situation when you're renting an apartment. So I would really focus on what are you creating and where are you housing it, okay? So if you have any questions about that, please let me know. Leave a comment below. I would love to know if you've experienced this already, where you're frustrated and you feel like you've had to walk away from a situation where you didn't own the content and now you're at a loss. But when you can start building content and a nice resource, it ends up being a fabulous resource that you can refer people back to your website on a regular basis. And it helps with SEO, it helps with your rankings. So definitely take that into consideration. And let me know if you have any questions. Now, the second part of today, now this is the mom part in me coming out. So I have 4 kids, like I mentioned, and this morning was my youngest son's moving up ceremony from 8th grade. And so he's entering into the high school. And, you know, it's a funny thing. So I have a 14-year-old boy, a 17-year-old boy, a 20-year-old girl, and a 22-year-old son. And so it's weird. It's a milestone today for me because I don't have any kids anymore in elementary school, and I don't have any in the middle school. And so I found myself reflecting all morning, because we went to this moving up ceremony and all of my kids were here for it. And I just have found myself kind of in a funk this afternoon because I was reflecting a lot, and I was thinking about, you know, my parents have passed away and they weren't there to celebrate with me, and you know, just the passage of time, and thinking about how important it is to be present and not rush these days away. I know that when my kids were younger, I would often be like, oh my God, I just can't wait to go to bed, and oh, let this day go by. But when you realize how quickly time goes, it really makes you think. And so it's cool. It's great to move forward, and I embrace that as well. It's okay to have the change, but just seeing my 8th grade son out there, and I'm just proud of him. And I just wonder what kind of milestones you're facing. It's June 2017. A lot of kids are graduating. Maybe you have somebody who just graduated kindergarten, but you're a mom and you're a business owner, and so there's a lot of things that we struggle with or deal with and juggle as mompreneurs that maybe some other people don't face. So I would love to hear from you what you're facing in your life and how you're juggling it all. So that's it for episode 1. I'm going to be doing this on a regular basis, and so I hope you'll tune in next time. Leslie Horn Trossett, Leslie Horn. Marketing.com. I would love to touch base with you. Give me a call if you want to chat anything content related. Okay, thanks a bunch.